there's a connection between resilience and the true sense of what confidence is. People usually speak about confidence like it's an emotion. Confidence is fuel. It's not like it hits like a feeling. It is fuel. Like I trust myself, and I have to also lead myself. There's times in which I am feeling and being the person I want to be, and it doesn't feel like I need confidence because I am confident. It's happening. And so then I have to lead myself and call all my lesser angels to the table, or get over whatever I'm going through and de-signify what I'm using to justify my lack of engagement. I have to trust my best self to pull my best self to the table, even when I don't show up like that a majority of the time.
Have you ever said these 4 words to yourself? I want more confidence. If so, then this conversation is for you. Hello, my friends. My name is Chad, and this is the Naked Leadership Podcast, high-stakes conversations for relentless company founders, where my co-host and I have over 6 decades of combined experience in leadership coaching, and this podcast is where we explore it all. There's no conversation too risky. This week, Adrian, Dan, and I sit down to talk about confidence. So many leaders believe that if only they had more confidence, people would want to follow them, they would make a greater impact, and others would see them as successful. We're here to pour some water on that fire. There's a very important distinction between confidence and courage, and just understanding that distinction can change everything for you. In this conversation, we explore what most of us are looking for when we say we want more confidence, and we talk about how to step into what's really needed to make the impact we know we were born to make. So my friends, have a listen and then pass it around at the water cooler. Let's dive in. I hear this statement so often. I want more confidence. I need more confidence. Topically for this podcast, as it relates to leading a team, to making decisions, to being on an executive board. All I need is more confidence. If I had more confidence, man, life would be great. We'd get shit done. When I say that, what do you guys hear?
I have a question I always ask just when somebody says that, because I ask them, well, what do you mean confidence? Like, what do you mean? If you had it, what is it? How do you know if you got it? How do you know you don't got it?
Well, so if I had it, I'd be willing to say what I want to really say.
Yeah. Well, is that confidence or courage? That's right.
A good question.
Yeah, because you might have confidence because you have your own opinion. You're just not expressing it. That's courage.
There's also another C that comes into this that I think a lot of people are talking about when they say confidence or the experience of confidence.
Commitment.
Comfortable.
Okay. I'm not comfortable. Yeah. Well, that would go with courage, right? Because I'm nervous. I'm afraid I could be exposed. That's the last thing I want.
That's right. Yeah. On one of the coaching calls that we've been recording, by the way, if you haven't heard those, go check them out. We were having such great conversations recording these coaching calls and publishing them on podcasts. The first one, yeah. There's 1 or 2 up by the time this one publishes.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So I know one that's been published, and the person you're working with, she brought this up. She said, I want to be more confident in my role. I want to be more comfortable.
Yeah, in my role.
Yeah, in my role. And you had a really great conversation with her about the difference between confidence, comfort, and courage.
Yeah. So that was a great conversation. I mean, I enjoyed it. There was so much more I wanted to get into, but I couldn't, I would chunk that down over a series of the next 4 or 5 calls, because that's so much breadth in the relationship that she had at work.
Yeah.
You think about confidence / courage, whatever that is. It's one of, it's like, well, let's define confidence. It means with trust. That's all it means. Confide from Latin, with trust.
Yep.
So, if I have an opinion, I obviously trust myself about something. I'm probably confident about it. And I'm afraid to speak my opinion because I'm afraid of the impact or consequences of doing so. That's different, right? At least I'm just speaking from my own experience, that there are times in my life where I've been confident about my opinion and didn't speak it because I was a coward about what would come back. And so not speaking it makes it a lie.
Yeah.
And I remember, I've impacted organizations I've led by doing that and hurt people, and unwittingly, because I'm so busy protecting myself, I protect them. I protect myself from what they might do. Meanwhile, I set them up. I'm lying. I'm going along tacitly agreeing and saying I don't have the confidence when really I'm a coward. At that point, I'm afraid to risk whatever I'm getting from them. I'm afraid to risk the disapproval or maybe the exclusion of what I'd like to be involved in, or there's some relationship I derive something from that if I speak it, it might go at stake.
Yeah. This is why, at least for me principally, leadership is always an inside game. Meaning when people think they see leadership happening, it's what somebody's doing with a group of people, and that person's quote unquote leading. That you're seeing fruit of work they're doing internally. If you see them leading well, you're seeing the fruit of them leading themselves really internally very well. And I was on one of sometimes I rant in the car and I record them. And I was ranting in the car the other day around the inseparableness or the relationship between resilience and honesty. And the point of it was, I was just thinking about why we don't tell the truth. Why do we not tell the truth? And this connects to confidence in several ways. But why do I not tell the truth? Well, it's because because I am not resilient. Meaning that I don't believe that once I express what's true or go out and put myself out there, that I will be able to sustain the self that I want to be. And so I don't have confidence. I don't have belief in, faith in, trust in that I am who I am. And I will, even if I'm pummeled to the ground, if I'm fully disintegrated, I'm standing with a belief that I will be the disintegration, not the one that continues to reconstitute myself, which is resilience, right? I come back from a hard time. I come back, I overcome adversity. I can take a shit ton of heat. If I believe that about myself, then with that comes an honest lifestyle. If I don't believe that about myself and I haven't generated the internal scaffolding of self, then I can't afford honesty.
Yeah, if you're not integrated.
If you're not integrated and don't know how to reintegrate over time, bring it on. Hey, I'm just going to let this be so. And I believe in myself so much. I have confidence in myself that I will be able to take on whatever storms come, whatever opinion, whatever gossip comes. I am right here, and maybe I'll be pummeled and I'll put myself back together.
Well, and that comes from the confusion that I am who you think I am. Your approval. If you don't approve of me, I'm nothing.
Right.
Or I'm wrong, bad, or broken, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that, it takes courage to do that, because that's how you get reintegrated, is you find out what's not what's not getting across,
right,
and how come, and what's it going to take, if you think about it, how often do you, if you're listening to this, how often do you confuse who you are, confidently who you are, with who other people think you are? And how you know you're confident is that you withhold, and later on you stand on your opinion, like, why didn't you listen to me when you said nothing, really? And you waited till they failed. I'm just, of course, confessing this, not pointing the finger at anybody.
You're not talking about me? You're not talking about me?
I've done this.
Man, just use my name, you pussy.
Just say the truth, Dan.
That's right. I wish it probably is there, but I'm so busy governing myself, or let's not do this. But I've done it. I've confessed it. I'm confessing it. I've done it, and it's hurt not only me, but it's hurt other people. Yeah, and that's part of what helps me keep my head around it, because I've seen the damage it can do, and if I get unconscious about it, if I stop being vigilant about the difference between my courage and my confidence, because I discovered I was very confident, because when things didn't work, I spoke up because I could make somebody wrong. So I was confident. I just didn't have the courage to take the risk when we first started the project.
That's right. Yeah.
And
the other moment that, go ahead.
Adrian, I was just going to make sure that I understood what you were talking about, and then Dan, yours tax on to the back end of this is for clarity's sake. So you said the reason people don't tell the truth, me paraphrasing what I'm hearing is like, the reason people don't tell the truth is because they're not sure they can deal with the aftermath of the truth. Like they're not going to come, they might not be able to come back with what happens after the truth is revealed. So how that might play out is if I have some sort of complaint with you, Adrian, and I withhold it, I don't tell you what that is because I'm not confident or I don't trust that we could come back from that. Is that?
Yeah, I think people would say it that way. They don't think they can, or I would say they're unwilling to do what it takes to come back,
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I think this, there's a connection between resilience and the true sense of what confidence is. People usually speak about confidence like it's an emotion. Confidence is fuel. It's fuel. It's not like it hits like a feeling, but it is fuel. Like I trust myself, and I have to also lead myself. So there's times in which I am feeling and being the person I want to be, and it doesn't feel like I need confidence because I am confident it's happening. There's also times that the moment calls for me to be a certain way, and I don't feel that way. And so then I have to lead myself and call all my lesser angels to the table, or get over whatever I'm going through and de-signify what I'm using to justify my lack of engagement. And I have to call myself in. So like I have to trust my best self to pull my best self to the table, even when I don't show up like that a majority of the time.
Yeah. You got to take courage.
Yeah. I used to always when I was early in coaching, I would make this distinction between courage and confidence. And I wouldn't even entertain really the confidence conversation, just because it's usually people relate to it like an emotional state. And it's just some other, like, it's like happiness. Like I just want to feel happy or feel at peace, whatever the emotional, whatever the mood is that people want to worship, and think that once I'm in that mood, then my life will be the way that it wants to. I would just always point out that confidence is typically a very historically driven conversation. It's I am because, and I look back and have all this proof and blah, blah, blah.
Well, yes, I am because is a problem for sure. Right
on. But that's actually how we relate. Like, if this happened, then I would be confident, right? It is the Freudian etiological view, instead of courage, which is always forward leaning. I must because, like I will because, and I've got a vision that's calling me into the vulnerability and the transformation that's necessary. So confidence looks historical, courage looks future.
Yeah, I must because this future's at stake.
Right on.
Versus
right on.
I have to because this happened to me.
Right on. Right on.
I'm victimized by what happened to me.
Yeah.
Versus I'm being called into this because this future's at stake, and I'm going to move because I'm going to stand and have this turn out.
Yeah. Well, people don't usually ask themselves what their relationship with themselves is. And I remember distinctly, Dan, I was in one of your trainings. This is whenever we were working together at the foundation.
Oh, yeah.
And we used to do a 3-day training. I think it was in that one. Anyway.
The Discovery.
And it might have been that, but I think no, it was the Revenant. But anyway, the point is that I remember there was a countdown. I think it was Discovery. Anyway, I remember there was a list we had made, and you were counting, and the question was how many promises you've broken to yourself.
Yeah.
And it nailed me for the first time. Like, it seemed like it was the first time that I was actually paying attention to how many times I had lied to myself. And I had not been the guy that had kept my own word to myself. And being stricken by, of course, I live my life as a chameleon because I'm no one to me. Like, I don't treat myself with the level of dignity and respect that I would expect other people, and I had broken very few promises in the exercise. The distinction was I had done a quote unquote better job at keeping my word to others, but keeping my word to myself was of lower value to myself. And if I'm not keeping my word to myself, then I will naturally have less confidence. because I don't trust me, because I am not a good friend to me. I'm not a guy that I can lean on. I don't show up for me. And then I act like I want some kind of, boost, wind at my back, and that's going to compensate for the lack of accounting I have with myself, instead of like, hold on, why do I not treat myself with the dignity and respect that I would expect anyone else to treat me with? And that's why this is like a long, good look in the mirror. If you want to solve the confidence issue, you better solve the issue of how much honor, dignity you treat yourself with.
It's kind of what Peterson says. Jordan Peterson says, treat yourself like somebody you care about.
I know Jordan quotes me a lot. I don't respect that about him.
I've written him a letter and asked him to please stop, or we're going to ask a couple.
I know. We want a little kickback. Yeah. Come on, Jordan.
Cease and desist your brilliance, please.
It's interesting. I'm listening to you guys, and I'm noticing an opportunity for a more robust conversation in my coaching with clients, which is really great. This is really awesome. Typically when my clients come to me and talk about this issue of confidence, I've been willing to dive into the confidence conversation, and I'm noticing that probably the courage conversation is missing, in at least in inspecting if they are paying attention to the distinction there and the difference that can make, right? Because just like you're talking about, Adrian, oftentimes in my conversations with clients, my go-to is, well, what commitments are you breaking to yourself? Where are you not showing up for yourself? If you want the experience of confidence, if you want to create it, you must be keeping or paying attention to the commitments that you're keeping or breaking with yourself, because you don't trust yourself. Now, I'm noticing, though, that probably a lot of these people don't have that distinction between confidence and courage, and what they're really asking, or what they're really noticing, is that they don't have courage, and that's where I've missed it. Life is not fair. It's what you negotiate. Let me say that one more time. Life is not fair. It's what you negotiate. Now, that's an interesting thought. If that's true, it means that everything you have in life right now, the possessions, the relationships, the fitness, the mindset, are all a product of your negotiations with others and yourself. And if that's true, wouldn't you want to be very clear on how you negotiate? What's effective and what's ineffective? What your strengths are and what your blind spots are? It is, after all, producing all the results in your life. So here's the deal. We put together a 15-question quiz that you can take in 5 minutes or less and find out exactly what your negotiation style is. The results of this quiz will give you insight into your strengths and blind spots in negotiation. It will also give you insight in how you can accentuate those strengths or compensate for the blind spots. Think for just 1 second with me all of the conversations you're having in your life. Think about compensation or advancement conversations with people on your team, discussing financial decisions with a partner, or just getting your kids to get their damn shoes on so that you can leave the house. All of these conversations are negotiations. This simple yet powerful tool has the potential to reinvent the way you get what you want in every aspect of life. Go to negotiation.takenewground.com right now, or click the link in the description of this episode and find out what negotiation style you embody. You can thank us later. Now back to the show.
Yeah. Well, you just illuminated a meta conversation as well, which is, if you want to have confidence, it's like the dependent. You must be courageous, because if I'm not presenting where I'm at, really, if I'm not speaking where I'm at, I don't know where I'm at. So I don't have the power to move forward, because I really am unsure what's available based on where I'm at. And if I speak it courageously, I find out where I'm at with you, and I can make adjustments.
Yes.
Right. So now I could become both more confident and courageous in the process. But it's a dynamic. It's, they work cycle on each other.
Yeah. Well, as you were talking, Chad, I was just writing down, and I think this is true. confidence without courage is arrogance. And courage without confidence is adventure.
Or, courage without confidence. Yeah. Or
Courage without confidence. Like I'm going to go, not knowing if I can pull it off.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, not knowing how it's going to work out. I'm going to go. But you know why? Because I go. That's what I do. I go. And I go figure it out. And that's adventure. That's risk. That's venturing. And that's thrilling. I mean, it's frightening, but that's why it's thrilling. That's why it's adventure.
Right? Yeah, it's also confidence because you're saying, I'm going to figure it out. Right?
Right. You trust in yourself that you're going to figure it out.
Trust in yourself to figure it out. Because you'll have people say, well, you're just too confident. Well, am I too confident? Am I being cavalier? Maybe I'm being cavalier. I maybe haven't thought about the implications of what I'm being confident about, but my confidence is usually not about the outcome. It's about the fact that I'm going to be able to find the way through my mistakes to what I ultimately am aiming at. I think
I guess it is okay. If you have courage and you move forward, it is confidence, but it's confidence in one domain, which is it's confidence in me.
Yeah.
I don't have confidence. I don't have confidence or trust or know what somebody else is going to do or what's going to happen in the situation. So you get 1 out of 3, and that's all you need.
Or what the environment's going to do, or
what the environment's going to do, or anything out there. I don't know, but I do get 1. I get 1. I was like, I'm going to move forward based on my own convictions, and I know who I'll be even after, the falling or whatever doesn't work out. After that, I know who I'm going to be. That's really all you need in order to go live, vital. What?
So to the founders, I got something for the founders. You may have somebody on your team who doesn't seem confident. Like they're not speaking up. They're not taking hold of what they're committed to. They're not owning their mantle. And you think that they're not confident. I've experienced that, and I have found that many times, they're confident. They're just wussies. They don't want to speak what they think. And what they're probably thinking is, I can do this better than you. I know what to do that you're not doing. And I'm afraid to tell you because I don't want your wrath, or I don't want the challenge, or I don't want to be exposed, or I don't want to fail. It could be a million things.
Yes.
But they're going to go along with you till you fail. Then they're going to tell you, I told you so.
Right.
And it's like, that's just the leader not willing to see or distinguish between, is this person really there because they can believe they can do something and that they're committed to it, or are they there because they're looking for the opportunity to be right? Right? And I have found that most of the time they're very confident in their opinion. They're just not telling you what an asshole you are in their mind.
Right on.
That's
right?
interesting.
And if you get that thing on the table, then those guys could be really great allies if you could be okay with having those conversations.
Right on. And this is the distinction. I mean, usually when you say the word arrogant, you think about somebody that's really brash. But but that's not the most common form of arrogance. The most common form of arrogance is withholding.
Yeah, right on.
Which you've perfectly described. Like, I know what's right. I'm not even going to honor this person or the situation or the future enough to speak what's right. I'm going to withhold to myself, for myself, to go prove myself right. And that's as arrogant as the guy that walks in the room with,
all the answers.
With all the answers.
Yeah. I've been both of those guys.
Yep.
I'm flexible.
I'm being that right now. Just kidding.
I'm flexible. Oh, shit. I could be the answer man, or I can.
So just tell me what to do.
Exactly.
Find a job.
No, I think this is great. I've gotten so much out of this distinction between courageous and
beat it up pretty good. We beat that thing see which way to Sunday.
Yeah, every which way to Sunday.
Yep.
Any final thoughts?
Well, so many. I actually want to draw people into introspection. Usually what pains a team, part of the pain of the team anyway, is the unwillingness for things to be uncomfortable, and the lack of courage in the conversations. and the invisible diminishing resource, which is people's courageous action and courageous speaking. And you only get to that if you set the game up where all in is the standard. That's the only way to get to it, is like to set a standard high. And as a leader, for you to be all in. And there's a lot of, I don't know, in kind of the namby-pamby version of culture we have these days where people's sensitivity is worshipped. As leaders, people are holding back because they don't want to step on so many people's toes. And I would invite people not to do that. I mean, there are ways in which to speak about really crucial, sensitive issues with love and with care and concern that need to be exercised. Otherwise, you're just throwing away money, and you're throwing away potential, and you're throwing away time, and you're throwing away your life, and you're going to be full of complaints. So whatever it takes to really increase the all-innedness, which for you as a leader, do not ask your people to do what you're not doing. So if there are conversations you're not having due to your lack of courage and you're dressing it up like being polite, stop doing that. Stop giving yourself credit for how nice you are, because it's not really serving anybody except for yourself. So come on out of the cave and go have the conversations you need to have. But you won't do that until you trust yourself to be able to handle what's there.
Mine is simple. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
Right.
If you want to make something new, it's got to get worse before new comes. And certain things have to die. And if I'm not willing to live in the gravity of that reality, I'm probably going to be making up stories to be okay with the way things have always been, or having more of what I say I don't want.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think to act courageously, I don't know that it requires it, but it's certainly my experience that it results in some failure.
Yeah.
Some missteps,
When I was
mistakes, some looking like a fool.
When I train trainers, and they'll go, "Oh, this is getting intense now." I say, "It's going to get worse. It's got to get worse before it can get better." They don't.
Yep.
So
that's why Adrian, you caught me laughing earlier because I don't know why this came to mind, but immediately I'll just share it. It's for kind of a random thought, but like we were talking about courage and trust in self and all that sort of stuff. And I think about my experience in The Revenant in about, late day 2, and all of my trust is in Dan. Like I have so much confidence in Dan in that moment.
I'm out there going, what the fuck have I gotten myself in? I think I have to go to the bathroom. Excuse me. Sad, take it.
And it's just so funny to me when we talk about like confidence and courage and that experience and even, that it is, there's an interesting experience of having that level of confidence in somebody. Even when you talk about it, Dan, even when you say, I don't know where this is going. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what it needs at this moment. I still have, that even increases my trust and confidence in you.
Right on.
I just know if I stay in it long enough, we'll figure it out if you'll stay with me.
Yep. Yeah.
How can I be in this in a way that challenges and invites at the same time?
So many conversations like this with clients in the last week where it's like, I don't know is a wonderful opening. Wonderful.
It sure is.
And you build trust. This is how you build trust. People, by the way, leader, if you haven't taken action, they know you don't know. They know.
Yeah.
And they're just waiting for you to be humble enough to claim it. And once you claim it, people get closer. It's not, we live in our worst fears of ourselves. Like, I need to act like I have all the answers, which is stupid, meaning like it doesn't work. Because, we know it's not true anyway, but we act as if I give the appearance of having all the answers, that people are going to like follow me. And the inverse of that happens because it comes off as arrogance, because like you're the emperor with no clothes. So claim your nakedness and, hey, I don't know, but I'm here to really solve this with you right now. And it calls people to the table.
And I'm committed to resolving it. If you think about it, there is no confidence without doubt.
That's great.
That's a paradox. It's a power. Like if I can't doubt, I really am not confident, because it's in the doubt. It takes confidence to enter the doubt, to see what's wanted and needed, for things to fall apart and still have the confidence or the trust that standing in it will order it. I'll find it.
Yeah, I spent some time probably about 10 minutes with a guy this week on the phone, and we were just talking about tee-ups to this conversation, which linguistically, it was like a way to like jump, to like, what do I need to say? Yeah, like when I'm in a meeting with somebody and I need to share my insecurities, I need to share my unpackaged thoughts, I need to share all this. What do I say that gets that started before my fear takes over? Like a phrase like, hey, I don't know how to talk about this, but I know we need to, and bam.
Yeah.
Or hey, here's a really sloppy idea. I know it's sloppy, but I need your help with it. Bam. Like, hey, I don't have resolution for this, and I don't even know what to do with it yet, but I need to get it off my mind. Can I share something with you? Bam. And all of a sudden you've jumped, and that's the hard part is to, if you're cliff jumping, that's the hard part is that first jump. Otherwise, hey, it all takes care of itself. But, it's like practicing some tee-ups that will set yourself up. That's right.
Leap.
That's right.
Be a knight of faith.
That'd be a great video or document to have some of those compiled.
Yeah. You should read Fear and Trembling. Kierkegaard talks about knights of faith, and that's it. It's like to make the first leap, and then the rest is it's fate. You're
in now.
You're in, and you think whatever comes up.
Yep.
All right, my friends, take the leap.
Good to be with y'all.
Ciao.
Thanks, gentlemen. Bye-bye, everybody. Well, my friends, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Naked Leadership Podcast. As a heads up, every Friday we post a Cliff Notes version of that week's conversation with all the highlights in under 5 minutes. Check that out for a quick and powerful reminder of the principles discussed. I hope this conversation has been valuable to you. If it has, the greatest compliment you could pay us is sharing it with somebody who could use it. Thanks so much for listening, and until next week, bye-bye, everybody.